Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. And Amanda is melting.
Guys,
why have you created me?
Why did you create me?
Amanda is going through her last menstrual cycle before the wedding.
It's about to start.
2 weeks from today, baby.
Today, as the crow flies. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I need this fucking gusher to pop by like noon tomorrow. So I know that I am completely clear to finally consummate this marriage. We've been waiting.
You'll be ovulating.
Like, God.
Yikes.
Well, never mind. No sex on wedding night.
Definitely not.
Fucking yikes.
Sex on your wedding night is for people under 27 years
People
old.
who've never had sex before.
And people who don't drink.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill doesn't drink. He will be capable of having sex on our wedding night. I'm the one who will be way too hammered. He'll be asleep when I'm still at the casino at 2 a.m.
There's no novelty to it.
None.
No, Zach tried to float that idea, and I laughed in his face.
And then
it's because we were in the bed with you.
I know. I was like, ha. Lucy, Amanda, Scott, or not Courtney, I guess. Lucy, Amanda, and Scott are crawling into this bed right now. So can you make
drinking
wine?
We're drinking wine in your bed till like 3 a.m.
Your marital bed.
In your marital bed.
I know. And he was like, okay.
Guess I'll go hang out with my friends.
I'll sit
what
on
did
the
you
living room
expect?
couch.
Yeah, LOL, idiot. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, marital bliss.
Yeah, Corey and I watched Cops in our hotel room and went to bed.
We will watch Forensic Files to fall asleep on our wedding night, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
First thing I'm doing when I check in is checking out which station HLN is on, so I can text you
our
guys so
group
you'll
chat.
be ready for when you come up.
That's the tradition when you check into a hotel room.
I got you.
62.
That is totally what we do.
Blindside 14.
It's the one with the dog hair. Turn it on.
The blind side is always on.
It is.
Sitting in a nondescript, cold hotel room, cheap, cold hotel room with the
Really
remote.
starchy bed sheets.
Yeah.
The remote's still in the plastic.
In the plastic, and it has the button, the back and forth channel button.
Previous.
God bless that
Preve.
button.
Yep, and you just have you go to Forensic Files first, then you
And
find
the
the blind side, and then you go back and forth between those two. That's how if you're not doing that at a hotel, you're not doing it right.
You're not living.
That's life. That's life.
Anyway,
Okay,
I'm
well,
Amanda, and
wow.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm Kenyan. I think I might have said that. I don't know.
I'm
Probably
Lucy.
not.
It's nothing
It's fine.
changes.
We went out of order. It's okay. This week we have a very special gals pick. Hog Girl Summer continues.
Hot girl summer!
And we felt it had been a while since we did a really good forensics episode.
Yeah.
Which are always some of the best, I
So
think.
fun.
Mama
fun.
needs her juice.
Okay.
So we have selected the topic of forensic toxicology. Tox screening, which actually reminds me that I need to allegedly eat a gummy.
Oh, I was like, where is
Allegedly.
this going?
Oh, happy day, Minnesota.
Well, yeah, we celebrated Legalization Day on the 1st of August.
Yeah.
It is a great time. I've been celebrating privately for years, but it felt felt really good to
Glad
know.
to see your beliefs have been recognized publicly.
Truly, I feel truly recognized by the state. And now when I smoke a joint in my front yard, nobody can legally do fuck all about it. So that's pretty great.
I got a phone call from she who shall not be named. You guys know exactly who this is. Who said, she called me from the car. And I was like, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm just driving to St. Louis Park. I had to call around and see who had like drinkable THC beverages.
I love how much she's getting after it.
Yep. Yep. That's the stuff.
Such a little pothead now. It's so funny.
I love it. I love it. I'm definitely going to enjoy that with that specific person on someone's wedding day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of
Substances.
libations and substances, Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for forensic toxicology?
Yes. Well, I personally am not drinking because, like I said, I'm fighting off a freaking menstrual migraine. So I have water and a protein shake. I don't know. I'm falling
That
apart.
sounds horrible.
It is horrible, but I also
Kind
like.
of a gross combo.
I know,
Yeah.
but I woke up with this really gross headache, and I couldn't.
Caffeine.
I know, but I only have coffee forms of caffeine right now at my disposal, and my stomach's not feeling the best because of my fucking period. So I just like knew I needed to eat something, get something in my system, but I'm not that hungry. It's the most menstrual day without anything actually flowing yet. It's
you
just
have
driving me
Midol?
crazy. Yeah. And I took it because that does have a little caffeine in it.
Yeah.
So that's helping. And my head feels mostly fine. I'm just like a little
You just
cloudy.
sound a little stuffed up.
Yeah, everything is excreting to prepare for excretion.
Okay.
But I have a recommended wine pairing, and we have paired a version of this before many, many, many moons ago. I think I even remember the photo of this wine having little Burke, the puppy, in the background of it.
Oh, Birkenstocks.
Burkles. But we are pairing the PoiZin, like Zinfandel, but we're doing the sparkling rosé because they added like a Brut rosé
Ooh.
to their lineup.
I love a
Yum.
sparkling rosé.
Yeah.
I do too. I'm so excited.
You are a sparkling rosé in human form.
Oh my God, thank you.
Me
I
or
was talking to
Amanda?
Kenyon. But
Okay.
Amanda's a hard Mountain Dew in human form.
Yeah. Thank you. So this wine is a beautiful peachy rose petal pink. It has aromas of strawberries and raspberry. So it's like that nice light fruit. And then it has a nice, like, silky effervescence, a dry finish. Like those, you're going to get a little bit of that sweetness on the front end, and then it's just going to clear right out to this nice, clean finish. And it sounds fucking amazing. It's 96% Pinot Noir. And then they threw in a little bit of Chardonnay, which is kind of a surprising blend, but I'm very excited about it. It's a very small amount. So I'm definitely going to get it. They have it at Total Wine. So I looked that up so I could access this at a later date because it sounds really fun. But for now, I'm just going to toast myself with my disgusting beverages.
Nice.
Total Wine should have like an app where you can build like kind of like a wish list, kind of like a mood board.
Save for later, like a grocery list almost. Shopping list.
Yeah, but also just
More
like
fun. A mood board
a
is great.
vibe.
Yeah, like plan out like this would be my barbecue shopping list. This would be my boating summer day shopping list.
Yeah,
Trademark, Total Wine, get at us.
Like colors and patterns are incorporated into the
Yeah.
app. You know what I
Cute,
mean?
a little Pinterest moment.
Yeah.
That would be adorable. I would
like
use the shit
that.
out of that.
I'm drinking this San Pellegrino. I don't know. This is Spanish or maybe Italian.
I think it's Italian.
Italian. I don't know.
Are
what-
they hard seltzers? That looks like
No.
pomegranate and lemon.
It's just
lemon.
sparkling.
Looks
Sparkling
really
orange
yummy.
and pomegranate. That's what it is.
Yum.
And it's fucking delicious. It's very sugary, but it's delicious.
Those are so fucking good.
I'm drinking my red juice, but I've mixed it up a little from my childhood. It is the Ocean Spray Cran Raz Classic, but instead of regular bubble water, non-flavored, cherry flavored, bubbly.
Okay.
Delicious.
Okay, mocktail. Little prego. Get it.
All right. Well, cheers, everyone.
A Charles.
And Lucy, what is our background and maybe, but probably not, psych for forensic toxicology?
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
No psych.
Shake it like a thingy of bones, yeah.
Shake it like a jar of goat bones. According to the National Institute of Justice, forensic toxicology is the analysis of biological samples for the presence of toxins, including drugs.
They made drugs.
They made drugs.
I know that we're like 5 years late on this, but Zach and I were driving back from his parents' place in upstate New York. So it's like a 12-hour drive. And we needed to have a podcast to listen to. And so we listened to, finally, The Thing About Pam.
Yes.
This was your first time listening?
It's so good.
It's so good.
Didn't you love it?
Yes. And
Isn't Keith Morrison
he had
real?
never heard Keith Morrison's voice
What?
before. So
What?
he was
Zach.
like losing his shit.
He hasn't lived.
So now Zach is saying they made love all the time. It's great.
That's the thing about Pam.
I'm gonna re-listen to it.
Yeah.
It's so I've listened to it 6 times.
It's really good.
Didn't we listen to it on our merch road trip, Amanda?
Yes, and that was maybe my 4th or 5th time listening to it, and I've listened to it at least once through since then.
Yeah.
It's like what I
like
put on when I get on an
midnight.
airplane. I like snuggle into my seat.
Or you
put on
listen to The
Keith.
Thing About Pam.
Listen to The Thing About Pam.
Yeah.
Order an airplane Bloody Mary.
Yeah, that's
Set.
perfect.
It's my routine.
Oh my God. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys because
I'm over fucking joyed. It's about goddamn time. They made love.
Okay. So this testing, this analysis is done with biological samples such as blood, urine, or tissue. The toxicology report can provide critical information such as the type of substances present. Are you okay?
I choked on my water and then I coughed so hard a little pee came out.
You're having a time.
okay, well it's been a great app, folks.
Special thanks. Oh my god.
We're professionals.
When a little pee came out.
Oh,
Oh my
whatever.
God. Okay.
It's not. It wouldn't even warrant a wipe. It's fine.
Oh my God. Okay. The toxicology report can provide critical information such as type of substances present in a person and whether or not the amount present is consistent with therapeutic dosages or is above a harmful level. So they can see if you're on drugs and if you're on drugs to the point where
It's gonna fuck you up.
XYZ would happen. The toxicology report can infer or determine a substance's potential effects on the person's death, illness, or mental or physical impairment. According to Wisconsin's DOJ, forensic toxicology applies discipline to matters of the law. So it's used in courts to assist in reaching verdicts. So, for example, a forensic toxicologist could be an expert witness, for example, to cast doubt on the results of a breathalyzer test.
Oh.
Which determine as we all know, a breathalyzer test is like a field test that determines average blood alcohol levels using relatively inexpensive machinery. We don't know when the last time that thing was calibrated. It also can't be retaken.
Yeah,
So it's like really not scientific.
Why?
because
Because
the
it
alcohol would be
changes-
out of your system, and
Oh, I mean, like on the spot, it can't be retaken?
I mean, yeah, but the results could be different. And then 20 minutes later, it's going to be different. 20 minutes after that, it's going to be different.
they're just really inconsistent. So retaking
right.
it is not.
So if you're close to the line, it could be a really big difference.
Yep. So thereby making making those kinds of cases a lot easier to punch holes in than, for example, a blood test, which is a lot more exact, and you can take multiple samples from one blood draw to
Double check.
to redo the test itself.
Remember that case of that guy in Canada, the like rapist dentist? I think he was he was definitely a doctor, maybe not a dentist. But
who put the hid the vial inside of his
hid
arm? Yeah.
fake blood
Oh,
in his own arm.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then had multiple, agreed to multiple DNA
I
draws.
covered him, I think. Yeah.
Remember that?
That was a really, really good episode of Forensic Files too.
I know.
So
Channel
good.
62.
They made love.
They made love. Not on their wedding night, because who does
No,
that?
Jesus Christ, never happening.
A guy named Mathieu Joseph Bonaventure Orfila, born in 1787, died in 1853, is often called the father of toxicology. Who's toxicology?
One of Blarney's best lines.
I love it.
Father of gene therapy. Who's gene therapy? She's giving birth right now.
As we speak.
That was the dumbest thing she's ever said.
Okay. So funny.
I'm checking my phone to see if this baby is out.
So Orfila was the first great 19th century proponent of forensic medicine. He was born in Spain and studied medicine in Valencia and Barcelona before continuing his studies in Paris in 1816. P-Town.
P-Town.
In 1816, he acted as the royal physician to Louis the 17th.
The 17th.
The 17th. A year
How
later,
you say the 17?
can't remember that number off the top of my head.
Oh, we're idiots.
A year later, he became a chemistry professor at the Athénée of Paris. In 1819, he became a French citizen.
I mean, he should at this point. Jesus.
I know.
Your name is Mathieu.
He's very mature for his age.
Oh my
So
God.
dumb. So fucking dumb.
Really dumb. He was appointed the professor of medical jurisprudence, which refers to a branch of law relating to medicine. In 1830, he became a dean of the Faculté of Médecine, reorganizing the medical school, raising educational requirements for admissions, and instituting more rigorous exam procedures. He basically just shaped shit up.
Right.
Because
they're making you doctors a little too easily out here.
Yeah.
We need to tighten this up.
we've talked about this
Let's go to the
previously.
container store. Let's.
Yeah, let's get this organized.
Let's set standards
There
for
are syringes
physicians.
everywhere.
What if we tried to save people's lives?
Oh, wait a minute.
What if we quit clowning around during surgeries?
No, that was so
horseplay.
fun. No more horseplay in the surgical chamber.
Theater.
Theater.
No more junior mints allowed.
Oh my God, that episode of Seinfeld is so good.
Overall, he did a lot during his time, including publishing a ton of articles, the titles of which are all in French, so I did not include them. While he was off doing all this, he worked to make chemical analysis a routine part of forensic medicine, which today,
Truly
fucking
is.
duh.
Big deal.
Fucking duh.
He helped develop tests for the presence of blood in a forensic context, and is credited as one of the first people to use a microscope to assess blood and jizz stains.
Oh my God, the perv.
He liked being up close and personal
Ugh.
with the crusties.
Ew, the
With
sebum.
that thick.
Well,
That thick.
That thick. That good.
Stop.
I hate it.
So gross. He also
Get a whiff of that good.
He also often acted as a medical expert in criminal cases. So he would argue that the natural arsenic in the soil around graves could be drawn into the body and then later be mistaken for poisoning.
Oh.
This was one of his things.
Is that true?
Yeah, was this a legitimate discovery?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Arsenic lives naturally in the ground. So if they were to dig up a body later and test that tissue for arsenic,
It would probably be present.
yeah.
Interesting.
He conducted his own studies on this and insisted that soil testing become a part of the procedure in all exhumation cases.
Makes sense.
Big deal.
Compare and contrast.
Even if somebody's in a coffin?
It's the 1800s, though, so I don't know
They're
what
not as
they're...
much?
Maybe. I mean, they certainly
didn't
were
have a
like
tight
sealed
seal.
up good.
Yeah.
They could have been like thin wood
Well, think of that.
or nothing, or just a shroud.
Think
Who
of that
knows?
GAC episode where Lucy talked about the fucking like body and hair coming up out of the ground around a grave.
Yeah.
And that's like recent.
Think about it.
Think about it.
it.
I haven't stopped.
I can't stop thinking about it.
That photo was so gross.
It's horrifying.
Okay.
Not good.
So insisted on soil testing. He was also pretty cool, but also controversial for his pro-monarchist politics and some other really dry BS that I also didn't include. So
Because I don't care about it.
he was cool on the science side, less so on the political side. In 1836, British chemist James M. Marsh developed a method for testing the presence of arsenic in human tissue. We're circling back to the soil sitch. He used zinc and sulfuric acid to create arsine gas to create the Marsh test, which was highly sensitive to even small levels of arsenic. I'm pretty sure some variety of that is still used today. I think they still call it the Marsh test.
Cool.
It was the first use of toxicology in a juried trial.
Interesting.
So, fun fact about the Marsh test. In 1840, Orfila, the first guy, the Spaniard, turned Frenchman, was actually called to investigate a charge against a woman named Marie Lafarge for poisoning her husband. Arsenic had been found in the husband's food, and Marie also had access to arsenic.
Literally every housewife had access to arsenic before like 1968.
Yep.
Yeah. The good old days.
But no arsenic was found in his corpse when they used the Marsh test. Orfila discovered that the Marsh test had been administered inaccurately, and in fact, there was arsenic present in the husband's corpse.
She probably was like, I love this science
This
stuff.
is amazing. Maybe I
Right?
didn't kill him. I don't fucking know.
I don't, you know.
Oh.
Guess it wasn't me.
Maybe I dripped it.
But she caught you on the counter.
It wasn't me.
Okay. So the case is notable because it was one of the first ever trials to be followed by the public in daily newspapers. It was TMZ. It was the first TMZ. And Marie Lafarge was also the first person convicted largely on direct forensic toxicological evidence.
My
Cool.
case is very similar to this case.
Oh, good. There's a picture of Marie.
Cute.
There's a picture of Marie and also of Orfila on the drive, which will be on the blog. Since then, the discipline has changed and evolved to adjust to new technology and other advancements. There have been many changes in the fields of chemistry and biology as well, which have involved multiple advancements with new drugs and testing for toxins. According to AZO Life Sciences, Azu, God bless you, Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
The most significant advances include the ability to analyze hair and other body fluids besides blood and urine using more optimized methods such as gas chromatography and liquid chromatography with tandem mass spectrometry.
Okay. Following.
Totally. When the drug doses are expected to be low so they can identify really small amounts. So, for example, when you see cops in the field testing a substance with like a strip of paper dipped in chemicals and it turns
Or like
purple.
TSA.
Yeah, and then they're like, "This is cocaine."
That's the technology.
That's liquid chromatography.
Okay.
Oh, so that's what they're doing when they're testing the baby food at the airport.
Chromatography. So how does one become a forensic toxicologist? You're probably asking right now. According to the American Academy of Forensic Sciences, most people seek a bachelor's degree in the life or physical sciences as the first step toward pursuing a career in forensic toxicology.
I'm out.
Yeah.
That's a no for
really
me,
out.
Dag.
It's never too
I
late.
would have
It's-
failed high school
it's too
biology
late.
if our final exam hadn't been canceled by another class cheating so much. And
Probably
then
my class.
probably
I was going to
your
say,
class
because
got
a
caught
lot
cheating.
of us copied
so
off
much.
of Jessica.
I sat right next to Jessica very
Yep.
intentionally during chemistry.
I wasn't even good enough at science in any capacity to be in the same classes as you and Jessica, but she's the only reason I passed because she would tutor me, which meant she would tutor me, but help me decide what to put on my
help you
cheat
to
sheets.
decide what to put on
my
your-
cheat sheets.
I sat between Blortney and Jessica in chemistry,
You were set.
and I have such a vivid memory of in that class, Courtney realized that she had lost her paycheck from the dinner theater.
Oh no.
And
she was distraught.
We were both like, just go to your boss and say you need the check recut. And she was like, but I already signed it. She used to sign her checks as soon as she got them.
No, honey. You don't sign it till you're depositing it.
And that's why I cheated off of Jessica and not Blortney.
Aw, honey.
It was like $100-some bucks, and in high
That's a
school, that was
lot
a
of money.
shitload
Oh
of
my
money.
god. Yeah. Yeah. It is now. What I wouldn't give for $100.
Just like a free
I
100.
would do
Yeah.
That'd be
almost
great.
anything.
Anything for $100 right now.
That'd be sick.
That'd be real cool.
Okay. Weddings are expensive, y'all.
It'd be cool though.
What
It would be
I
super
would
cool.
not do
Do.
for $100.
The list is short of what I wouldn't do for $100.
But like a fun 100.
A fun
Sure.
hundo.
Yeah. No, I just have nothing left after all my bills.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, a candidate
I'm not
should-
in trouble. I just want more money.
I don't need help digging my way out, but
No, it just hurts.
I just want to have fun now and then. A candidate should have a solid background in chemistry. Nope. And should have coursework in pharmacology and toxicology as needed. Nope. It is not required to have a master's or a PhD, but many forensic toxicologists do hold those degrees.
Yeah. You're just, the competition's going to be rough if you don't have one.
I would have done better in science if it had been framed around forensics.
Absolutely.
If they had been like, this is a liquid, I already forgot the word for it.
Chromatography.
And this is a liquid chromatography test.
My poor
And
bitches.
we use it to determine if a substance is cocaine.
Cocaine.
or gonna,
Oh my God, I would have loved that.
right? I would have been
Brilliant.
all into that. Instead, we were always
Rapt
just like
attention.
thrown into these group experiments. And like, I always felt like I missed the intro part where they're like explaining why the fuck we're doing this thing.
It was never like applied. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is the Latin word for this chemical. And when it interacts with this chemical, then we get this third chemical. It's like, cool, dude.
Why?
Why? Why do
Yeah.
I care about this?
How long did it take them to figure this out, and for what purpose?
There was no explanation of like the end game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. We should be teachers. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Been there,
no.
done that. Don't like
Hardest job ever. No, thanks.
it. The little dancing bear in the circus. Okay. Some enter the field after working or pursuing education in other fields and failing, such as medicinal chemistry, pharmacology, or clinical chemistry. The American Board of Forensic Toxicology offers professional certification to scientists working in forensic toxicology, and to be certified, a candidate must fulfill one of the following: a doctorate degree and at least 3 years full-time experience, or a master's degree and at least 7 years full-time experience.
Dang.
It's just a lot. Is it worth it? That's up to you.
Let me work it. Let me
that's
search it.
dedication. I mean, they are solving crimes, so that's nice.
Yeah, you want them to be well-versed. Yeah.
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 The average salary for a forensic toxicologist is around $70,000 a year or $34 an hour.
It should
Not
be more
shabby.
than that.
Should be more.
It should be more than that. With all of that education,
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
The
It should
top-
be at least 6 figures.
The top 10 percentile makes over 123 grand annually, while the bottom 10% makes under 39 grand annually.
That's insane. No.
Absolutely not.
They may
That's
work.
leaving shit open to bribes.
Absolutely it is. And that does happen.
Have you guys watched that documentary, How to Fix a Drug Scandal?
Yeah.
That is so fucking good, and it is exactly what we're talking about.
They did there's a season of, I think it's called like American Scandal podcast or something that I think covers that case as well.
It's
Someone
so
who
good.
is churning out incorrect lab results.
She's churning out bogus lab results because she's taking all the evidence drugs and using it. She's fully addicted to like all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And she
It
was
wild.
responsible for putting like
Hundreds.
hundreds of people in jail.
And
Hate
it
that.
overturned a fuck ton of convictions after her scandal came to light.
Yeah. That little miniseries on Netflix is really good.
Really wild.
So forensic toxicologists may work in medical examiner laboratories like that lady, crime laboratories, military or government, or in private sector facilities. So like the kinds of companies that conduct like drug tests for corporations. Forensic toxicology has 3 main subdisciplines. We have postmortem forensic toxicology,
Oh, yeah.
human performance toxicology, and forensic drug testing. So postmortem forensic toxicologists work with pathologists, medical examiners, and coroners to help establish the role of alcohol, drugs, and poisons in the causation of death. They investigate suspected drug overdoses, homicide, suicide, natural deaths, and general unknown deaths where toxins are ruled in or out via testing and analysis. That's the good shit. That's the juicy shit.
Yeah.
Human performance toxicologists deal with the effect of alcohol and drugs on human performance or behavior.
So
They-
like doping scandals.
That's where
Athletes.
my mind went to immediately. And yes, but also they work in an array of criminal investigations ranging from impaired driving to vehicular assault and homicide to child custody or abuse or to drug facilitated crimes such as sexual assault.
Oh, okay. Or like neglect, maybe, for like
Yep.
custody hearings. Okay.
Yep. Their job uses the same application of techniques as a death investigation setting, but their specimens are collected from living people. So
Sure.
it's very similar. They're just not dealing with corpses.
I was listening to I think it was on NPR. It was a podcast about how there are people who give birth and while they were pregnant, they were prescribed by a doctor methadone because they had an active addiction to opioids and they wanted to try to kick that addiction while they were pregnant for like the sake of their baby. They wanted to keep their baby. So they're prescribed methadone during pregnancy. They give birth to a healthy baby. And then because methadone is found in their blood work after giving birth, the baby is taken
By CPS.
by CPS.
So
Yeah.
fucked up.
Is there like a remedy for? I mean, what would?
I mean,
where did you
I think
hear
it really
this?
just depends on like different jurisdictions and states and like different, it's like, very piecemeal. Isn't that fucked up?
That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
I hate it when different clumps of medical or like the authorities don't fucking talk to
Communicate.
each other.
Yeah.
They don't agree on
Yeah.
the same shit.
Well,
it's like
this
your
woman
doctor
was
tells
like,
you
"I
one
was
thing and the cops are like,
prescribed."
nope, taking your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
That's horrific.
you can't win. Okay, so back to human performance toxicologists. They are usually asked to determine the timing and extent of impairment resulting from different patterns of drug and alcohol use. Their job requires applying knowledge from clinical and medical studies and experience in the field to give an opinion about the effects of a drug or combination of drugs at the time the crime or accident. So the DUI example I gave earlier would be a behavioral toxicologist, probably.
Like this would be their level of impairment.
Yeah.
This is how much they had in their system, and these are the effects of having that much in their system.
Yeah. Like in my experience, like breathalyzer results aside, in my experience, 3 beers, 2 hours before this 150-pound person drove would not be impaired, wouldn't impair their performance
or whatever. Yeah.
So forensic drug testing is used in many settings, including the workplace. Oh, here we go. Doping control in sports. I was thinking
I
that
knew
was
this
the
had to
first
come
one.
up.
I was thinking that was the human behavioral one, but it's not. It's that's forensic drug testing because it has to do with a crime. Doping control in sports, probation, parole, compliance monitoring, and testing. So the scope of drug testing is often limited compared to other subsections, but the amount of testing can be much greater. Workplace drug testing laboratories can perform tens of thousands of tests per day. How boring.
That would be so boring.
And often require specialized equipment configurations such as multiplexing, which decreases analysis time and improves productivity. So it's just another way of, I don't know. It just sounds boring.
I'm just picturing robots with like little
Right,
test
the little
tubes.
arm.
Yeah. Little cups of pee.
Yeah.
Oh God, drinking it and then
Sloshing
giving the
everywhere.
results. Ish.
The robot drinks it, spits out a receipt. Fire her.
Cocaine.
I was at the doctor
Okay.
recently, just like, regular checkup,
For fun.
whatever. Yeah, just for fun. And they had me like pee in a cup
For happy hour.
and put the cup in the little like
Window.
box window thing in the bathroom. And there was already 2 other people's pee sitting in there.
Oh yeah.
Ew, were they on a lunch break?
I don't know,
They're backed up.
but like that's gross.
Yeah, that is gross.
I could have done anything to those people's pee.
Those
piss
windows
party.
fascinate me. You should have knocked on the other door.
It wasn't
Hello?
a window. It was just a cubby.
Oh, it didn't go to the other side.
My pee's going bad.
You got stale piss in here.
Yeah.
Ew.
I don't know. It grossed me out.
It's
Yeah.
cool to the touch.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Next
Hate it.
and lastly, I have this cool body diagram of what information can be found where for toxicological purposes. The diagram will be on the blog.
Very cute and color coded. I love it.
It's really
I love the diagram.
cute. Little
So-
cartoon.
From the eyes, we can gather, specifically from the vitreous humor, that we can find the concentration and levels of a drug before 1 to 2 hours earlier before death. Because the only way you can get the vitreous humor is if you like take the eyeball out. So it's always like a post-mortem. As far as I understand, it's always a post-mortem test because you don't want to take that shit out of your eyeball for a test if you're still alive.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crucial.
Yeah. So that can reveal the drug info from like way before.
Okay.
And the vitreous humor, I don't think I put this in here, but I have done extensive research on vitreous humor as of recently. That is important because after death, a lot of the other body fluids are changed chemically because of like just decomposition,
Yep.
cell lysis,
Gas
or the breaking
release
down.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the other fluids that they might otherwise test if the body's been dead for a little while wouldn't give you that good of information. But the vitreous humor is isolated from all of those other chemical
Gives
changes.
you that good.
So
That
it
thick.
Yeah,
That
it can.
eyeball thick.
That eyeball thick.
We just. It's so gross.
This is your fault.
You haven't thrown up while pregnant on the show yet, and
Yeah,
we're gunning
yeah.
for it.
Yeah, eyeball thick. Good.
I didn't eat my fourth. I hadn't eaten my fourth piece of toast, and now I'm not going to. But the coolest thing about the vitreous humor, you can get information from it even after the body's been embalmed, because they
weird.
usually don't fuck with the eyeball. There's no reason they'd fuck with the eyeball, so it's still in there with just all of your information from when you were
Behind
alive.
the retina.
Wow.
Is that fucking cool?
That is cool.
Ugh. Also,
Lucy's so happy.
She struck overcome with
humor.
joy
It's so cool.
over that eyeball. Good.
Also, if a person died because of a DUI and they don't recover the body till later, the alcohol concentration in the blood would compound because of those chemical changes. So a person might be accused is not the right word, but they might think that the person was way more drunk than they actually were at the time of the death.
Because the body's like fermenting itself.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
that's why it's important to check the vitreous humor.
Wow.
Vitreous humor don't lie, you know?
I was drunk, but I wasn't that drunk. Check my vitreous humor.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
I'm dead. I'm portraying my ghost.
At this point.
Yeah.
I don't care about my legacy. I'll be dead.
I'm not going down for this.
Oh, wait, I'm already down.
I'm really down.
I'm as
6 feet
down as
down.
it gets. How am I speaking right now?
I'm a ghost.
You can also figure shit out because of insects, which can determine if drugs were present in the body after they consume parts of the dead tissue.
Oh, like maggots and shit?
If
Yeah.
the maggots
Test?
get drunk.
You
my
could take a
God.
sample of the maggots or beetles or whatever and then like figure out if there's drugs or alcohol in the bugs.
Drunk
Cocaine
maggots. Party. They made love.
Party maggots.
Oh.
Also, if you give cocaine to, what are the bugs that eat wood? Termites.
Termites?
Yeah. So they termite faster.
They
Oh,
termite
yeah.
way faster.
They're more efficient.
And they have more termite entrepreneur ideas.
They are the eldest child.
And they start like 6 podcasts.
Is this what we
They
need?
definitely register for like 3 different LLCs.
Oh my God. In there.
Oh my God. Okay, liver tissue reveals the presence of a drug and the levels of the drug before death. And also the bile from the liver can determine if the drugs were in the system anytime over the past 3 or 4 days. Because those drugs would somehow accumulate in the bile itself.
And doesn't hair tell you about drug use like from farther back?
That is complicated.
Okay.
It depends
yes.
on the drug.
Yeah.
And so like say LSD, that can show you it's more reliable within the last like 90 days. But it's also in such low amounts that specific drug actually grows into your hair that you could tell if it was there, but like it's not super reliable.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they use hair testing that much. And it's also not the
They
hair
do a lot
itself,
for
it's the
weed.
it's the bulb of the hair.
No,
Well,
the bulb
for-
of the hair is for DNA.
DNA, but you can
hair-
test for like weed in hair and it
Yeah.
will grow into the length of the shaft. And then that can help determine how long ago they
right.
smoked
hair,
it.
Hair grows out of the bulb. So it's
Yes, but they don't
both.
test. It is both, but they actually test the shaft to
Yeah.
determine the length of time that chemical has been present in the growth of the hair.
Right. The shaft couldn't tell you. There's no DNA in the shaft, so the shaft
Right.
couldn't tell you who it belongs to, but it can tell you about the drug use for certain drugs
Yeah.
and
It
time period.
depends on the drug and also the time period. If you have really short hair, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
people will literally shave their heads or cut their hair to avoid
That
Yeah.
that exact thing. Seen it done.
couldn't they seriously pluck a hair though from like your arm and test it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could, but in terms
Or
of like the
armpit.
length of time a specific drug has been in your
It's not,
system.
it's not a very long hair.
Yeah, the hair's not very long, so that wouldn't be super effective.
Super
I think
long
you
pube.
shed your thinner non-head hairs a lot faster than your head hairs. My point is it's not consistently a reliable source
We'll
of
do a
forensic
hair toxicology
information.
episode.
Hell yeah.
We did hair.
We'll do another hair. We'll do. Life is
We can do
long.
whatever we want.
Okay.
It's our show.
Okay. Okay. Fingernails can reveal, I guess also toenails. Gross.
No.
Can reveal if there are any heavy metals, and they can determine if there is drug or alcohol use from the last 1 to 2 weeks. And they can also show usage from the growth timeline. So similar to hair, which I guess it's both keratin, right? Hair and nails. So it would work similarly.
But with your fingernail, I mean, maybe they can take a sample from like the base of your fingernail, but they can't like remove your fingernails.
I think they can get it from clippings, though.
They
Right,
might be
but I'm
able to
saying,
like scrape some of the top off.
Right. Maybe it's a scraping situation.
I don't know.
I'm good.
I thought the alcohol use was interesting, though, that you can see that in your fingers. Urine in the bladder can reveal if drugs were present in the bloodstream at an earlier time because it would take about 8 hours for the substance to be present in the urine.
Rewinding back to the fingernails, is that why you can, like smokers, like people who smoke cigarettes, their fingernails are like yellow and more brittle?
I think that's
part of
because
it's-
of the smoke itself, because it's usually on their smoking hand and
It's
their
like
smoking
both.
fingers.
Like part of it is from
Internal.
having nicotine in your system, but it's mostly from like holding a cigarette that's like smoldering or smoking.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah, because like your right hand with these two fingers usually.
Is more
Very
yellow.
yellow.
Oof. Okay.
Stomach contents
Oh, God.
contain whatever drugs or poisons were ingested. Blood reveals the type of drug present and the level of intoxication and the concentration of drugs or medicine. And, here we go. Like nails, I wrote these notes like 3 weeks ago.
I know we've been delaying this recording for a while.
Like nails, hair reveals if there are any heavy metals in the body and illustrates intoxication history because of the hair growth. So yes. The short answer is yes. That's my segment.
Wow.
Well done.
Thanks.
I feel so informed.
Right?
I'm ready to take my forensic toxicology exam without
Ready.
even having to cheat off of Jessica.
We
Absolutely
basically
ready.
have our bachelor's degrees and 7 years of field experience.
We're going to get our honorary doctorate any day now.
Any day.
I can feel it.
All right. Well, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Hopefully, fucking biotin. And then we'll get to my case.
Let's do it.
Have you heard of Dipsy? Probably. How could you not have?
We talk about it a lot.
Dipsy has all types of oral pleasures to explore.
See what we did there?
Oral, like your ears, not what you were thinking of, but that can be incorporated too,
Sure can.
if that's what you're into. Tell us more.
Oh, God bless Dipsy. Dipsy is an app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories designed by women for everyone. They bring scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters, and you can discover stories about, I don't know, second chance romances, or adventurous vacation flings, hot and heavy hookups. I mean, they have it all. Radically inclusive, Dipsy has stories for straight and queer listeners, and 56% of stories are voice acted by people of color. And you have never heard celebrities like this before, okay? You can listen to stories voiced by Sarunas J. Jackson, E.R. Fightmaster, and Luke Cook. I am already sweating. New content is released every week, so in between listening to your favorite stories again and again, you can always find something new to explore. And they also have soothing sleep stories, wellness sessions, and sexy stories you can read if you didn't charge your headphones. So let Dipsy be your go-to place to spice up your me time, explore your fantasies, relax and unwind, or heat things up with a partner.
For listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/gals. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/gals, dipsystories.com/gals, and treat your fantasies.
Treat 'em. Get the star treatment with your own personal stylist. You might think that this is so extravagant and something you could never do, but stop right there, because with Stitch Fix, you'll have access to real stylists. These are people, okay? People who will work with you to create a wardrobe that is tailored just for you. Tell us more.
Stitch Fix is the best way to discover new styles and brands just for you. I would have thought it was an AI situation, and it's not. There are real humans behind this. So think of Stitch Fix as your style partner, your style human partner. Your human stylist will learn about your tastes and collaborate with you on looks you will love. All you have to do is answer a few questions about where you typically like to shop, like, I like Madewell. I like sort of kind of neutral, kind of casual clothes. Also, what you like to wear, black leggings.
Athleisure, baby.
And also your price range, because some things I just don't want to have anything to do with if they're at a certain threshold. So with your choices in mind and a wide range of sizes available from extra small to 3XL, they'll find your perfect fit. They've got you covered with over 1,000 brands and styles. Here's my favorite part. So I am with child. I've got to get new clothes.
Yep.
And not a lot of maternity clothes are that cute.
Yeah.
Stitch Fix has a whole maternity section.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's real cute. Just this morning, I got my Fix preview. So I got to go through and pick what's coming in my Stitch Fix for this month. So freaking cute. I am so excited. So you get your pieces in the mail, you try them on at home before you buy them, you just keep what you love and you send back the rest in this bag. It could not be easier. Plus, shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. They have got your back. There is no subscription required. You simply order a refresh as needed or set it and forget it like we did. With regular seasonal fixes, you are in control, baby.
I'm obsessed with Stitch Fix. So try Stitch Fix today at stitchfix.com/gals, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/gals for 25% off today. One more time, stitchfix.com/gals, and treat your wardrobe.
Trade it.
We are going to be going in the way back machine.
Your favorite place to go.
One of my faves. To the late 19th century in the bustling city of Jersey City, New Jersey. Ever heard of it?
Love it. Your hometown.
My hometown. I did live there for 2 miserable years. So
Two really long years.
It
really
felt longer
long.
for sure.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like 5. Honestly.
Was that where you lived when your roommates thought you guys were having sex in the living room, but it was just Zach doing push-ups?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zach had those push-up discs. And I was asleep in our bedroom, and he was doing push-ups in the living room, and our roommates thought that we were just having sex at 7:30 p.m. on a weekday in the shared living room.
Really
Absolutely not.
rhythmically for
really
40
rhythmically.
minutes.
Ish. My
And
God.
they didn't cook dinner that night, or
they were
eat
scared to
dinner,
come out
they
of
were
their
scared
room.
yes. How
Love
fucking
it.
funny! And they told us about it months later when he did it again in the living room, and they were like, "Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Text. Are you guys fucking? I'm hungry.
Yeah, seriously. It's hard.
so odd!"
So odd.
Who makes that assumption?
That was quite a leap.
I don't know.
Quite a leap.
Roommate
Okay.
trauma.
Anyway,
That's what I think of when I think of Jersey City.
That specific anecdote.
Yes.
So George Vosberg, I don't know, Vosberg.
Sure.
I'll probably say it both ways, is a charismatic and popular young pastor, a pillar of his community. But behind closed doors, George's home life was tumultuous at his own fucking doing, because he's a piece of shit.
Okay.
So George was married to Harriet, and their marital life was strained. The couple fought frequently over any number of things, but the most glaring issue in their marriage was George's unhappiness over their being childless.
Okay, get over it.
Which
Get
at this...
over it. Fuck you, George. Get over
Fuck
it.
you, George. Which I have in my notes. Like at this point, you might be thinking, fuck you, dude. That's not it. That's not in Harriet's hands.
I might be thinking that.
You
And
might
there's
be.
a 50% chance it's
your fucking fault.
Mm-hmm.
You shit dick.
And while one would never try to assign blame to infertility issues, this was not your classic case of infertility.
Do you know us?
And while we would never
Fuck you, shit dick. It's probably your fault.
Fuck you, shit dick. Oh, I can have a baby. Whoa.
Oh my God.
Okay, I never thought I would laugh this hard at infertility.
Yeah,
No
obviously
shit.
we are not.
I'm
We
allowed.
recognize the struggle. But
I'm
this
in
guy
the in
sucks.
group. I can make fun of it.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, Harriet had been pregnant multiple times during their marriage, but she had had at least 2 abortions undertaken without, quote, without George's prior knowledge or approval.
Good for her.
Good for
Yes.
her.
Either they weren't his, and we will get to it, or even more likely, he was a fucking terrible piece of shit, and she didn't want to have kids with him because he was abusive, and we will get to it. So, also adding fuel to the fire was Harriet's apparent fling with a barman. Like a
Okay,
barman,
loving
a barman.
Harriet.
We got it.
A barman.
like a
A
bird.
man who mends
Like a
balls.
beerman, like those cats.
I'm like allegedly a little high, so it's fine. From whom she had even accepted a ring of some kind, some jewelry. So that's all I know about him, unfortunately. So yeah, safe to say the Vosbergs are not in a great place in their relationship, but the volatile atmosphere actually seemed to lift in the winter of 1877 to 78 when Harriet suddenly fell gravely ill. So George tended to his sick wife, like on her sickbed, but Harriet's brother, the ironically named James Sickles,
Oh.
was suspicious of his suddenly tender and concerned brother-in-law because he knew that George was a piece of shit.
Now you care, shit dick.
Shit dick.
So he believed that George might be poisoning Harriet, and so Sickles began a secretive operation to gather forensic evidence to back up his claim. This is 1877.
It Sickles.
So he was like an early true crime weirdo.
Yeah.
I love him.
basically.
Or
like,
Fila.
like most people didn't even know this shit was possible.
Also, a good brother.
I
Like,
bet he
you're
was
sus.
hot.
I'm gonna gather evidence.
Yep.
I bet he was really fucking hot.
Yeah.
He sounds hot.
Yeah. James Sickles.
Get it.
Get it.
He get that thick.
Oh,
Give me that thick thing.
Ew.
give me that sick.
Oh.
No.
Get it?
Oh, I got
Boo.
it.
I'm
So
booing
grossed
that
out.
joke.
So grossed out.
So he's doing this, but it's very secretive. Even his sick sister was unaware of what he was doing, but also she was pretty addict. She was like barfing all the time.
Wait, her name. Oh, wait, never mind. Harriet Sickles.
Her maiden name,
whatever
I'm
her
assuming, was
yeah.
Sickles. Yeah.
For a second, I thought her maiden name was Sickles.
We are
That'd
so
be rough.
unwell today.
That would be rough.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Just keep going without me. I'll catch up.
Yeah, go take a nap. Go to bed.
That's how you're just gonna feel for at least the
For a
next
while.
16 months,
strong.
18 months.
Just like
Just like your brain has been taken out of your body and just put on a little shelf and you can see it, but you
can't
can't
use
quite
it.
reach it.
everything that comes out of my mouth is like 1/3 formed in my
Yes.
brain.
Yep.
And the rest is just a potpourri of whatever.
Yep. It's a trip. Okay, so demonstrating a determination that bordered on obsession, Sickles, the brother, began collecting these samples, specifically of drinks that George was serving his ailing wife.
Smart.
He even procured samples of Harriet's urine.
Oh.
Okay.
Which, like, how you do that without her knowing. I guess he probably just, like, took the bedpan.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. All right.
So Sickles sent off the samples of the lab to the lab of Dr. R. Ogden Doremus, professor of chemistry. I know, it doesn't sound great. Ogden Doremus.
What an ignoramus.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Doremus to you.
Dr. Ignoramus to you. Yeah.
Dr. Ignorant.
He was a professor of chemistry at Bellevue Medical College, and his findings were alarming. Traces of antimony, a compound typically found in china dishware, not enamel, not the same
Okay.
thing as teeth and bathtubs.
Got it.
I checked.
Okay.
Were discovered in every single sample. So in all the beverages and in the urine. All the urine samples.
Is that because all their shit was made out of China?
No, no. That would be an interesting counter. Be like, yeah, well, they just
They
peed
drank
in China.
out of teacups and
yeah.
Yeah.
their bedpan was China.
No, I think they took it to mean that he had poisoned them all.
Okay.
So it could also be used in compound form known as tartar emetic, which is derived from antimony and potassium tartrate, which has the capacity to induce vomiting and is sometimes employed to treat fungal infestations.
Tartar sauce.
Yeah.
Fungal
I
infestation.
Yeah, I didn't get into the fungal thing, but like
Why
tartar,
not?
like any
Missed
your job.
opportunity. Start Googling, girlfriend.
new SLB episode. Actually, real life versions of The Last of Us would be a great spooky little bitch episode.
Ooh.
Like different kinds of fungal takeovers.
Oh, fungal.
Bananas.
Parasitic
Googled
fungi.
Tartar. Fungal infestation.
Tartar infestation.
Yikes. These images are rough. Oh, I can't.
Oh, well, now I have to.
Oh.
No, I'm not doing it.
Haven't thrown up on a show yet.
Is this the day?
That was really nasty.
Gnarly.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Kenyon's speechless. Oh, God.
Oh,
Move on. I hate
love
this.
weird skin stuff. I love it.
I'm not even Googling it myself, and I hate it.
Okay.
Okay.
After hours.
Okay, so emetic, I think it refers to like making one throw up, right? Okay.
Sure.
But despite having some legitimate medicinal uses, the presence of antimony in Harriet's system raised alarm bells since the last thing she needed was more vomiting. So it's like even if he was like, there'd be no reason to give her tartar emetic. It's like if you had the runs and someone gave you
A laxative.
Yeah.
a
Laxatives,
laxative.
yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. Hi, brain. I see you. So in May 1878, Reverend George Vosberg was arrested for attempted murder because once the brother sent the samples to the lab, they got Harriet kind of away from him for long enough for her to get better. And so that's when they were like, okay, we're arresting you for attempted murder.
Cool.
So yeah, she had kind of a miraculous recovery. Whoops.
Yeah, weird when you're not giving her poison tartar sauce every fucking day.
Yum.
So the Vosbergs were then thrust into a trial that would become a nationwide spectacle in the press. There were so many cartoons of this trial, like old-timey cartoons from
Amazing.
newspapers, and so many mutton chops. So just like go to the drive, look at my folder of pics. These will be on the blog.
Oh my God.
Like
Amazing.
look at the men's facial hair.
Ew, I don't
Brilliant.
like it.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's craziness.
I love an unruly chop.
No.
Yeah, like the triangle side face
The
chop.
curly
comes
triangles.
Ray looks like that after a nap.
Bill would look like that if he let his beard grow.
Make Bill do that
Okay.
someday.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
Twist my arm.
Okay.
So, in addition to her brother James, other members of Harriet's family testified against her husband. Her father recounted witnessing his son-in-law surreptitiously pull an unknown substance from his pocket and pour it into his daughter's tea before giving it to her. Even more compelling were the accounts of Harriet's sister Elvira.
Yes.
Love.
Harriet and Elvira. Sickles.
So cool.
Sickles. Elvira Sickles.
Okay, brilliant.
Of course you're involved in a poisoning case. Not that
Yeah.
you poisoned,
No,
but
she was, a witness. And the sister-in-law, Jenny, whatever, it doesn't matter, who testified about Harriet's deep-seated fear of being left alone with her husband. So, like, the family members are like, he's a piece of shit. He's
Right.
an abusive piece of shit. We know it. She told us. She's scared of him. Whatever. But in a dramatic turn of events and a major blow to the prosecution's case, Harriet herself refused to testify against her husband.
she's abused.
In fact, she stood by him, literally sat next to him throughout much of the trial, and refused to testify. And of course, a person cannot be compelled to testify against their spouse. They could volunteer to testify against their spouse,
Right.
but they can't be forced to.
And should.
And should. So later on, when Harriet was interviewed and asked why she refused to testify, she said simply, quote, "I have my reasons, which I do not wish to tell anybody. I shall not testify if I can help it." And she was afraid of him, and
Yeah.
he'd been abusing her for
I
years.
have my reasons that I don't want to tell anyone. I don't want him to murder me.
Yeah.
Poor hair.
I'm not going to testify. Yeah.
Still, the prosecution had facts and science on their side.
Two of my favorite things.
They underscored the damning evidence of poison present in all of the samples of Harriet's beverages. Their key witness was Dr. Ignoramus, who didn't just talk about his chemical analysis on the witness stand, but instead opted to demonstrate some of his tests live in the courtroom.
Wow. What a show.
How?
I mean, back then, this would have been like if holograms were fucking used in the middle of a courtroom. If it was just like, boom, here's a hologram reenactment of the crime.
Oh
to
my
us
God.
Fucking
today.
awesome.
Like, this was wild for the time.
But when are we going to get courtroom holograms?
Right? That seems like
It's got to be like
something we should
right
have
around the
had.
corner.
I don't know. We still have cartoon sketch artists in the courtroom. So
No.
That's just
We
for
can have-
that's just for gigs, though.
it's just for jollies.
We could have a hologram of Tupac, but we can't get holograms in a
Right?
courtroom. This is bullshit.
I have the sphere thing in Las Vegas with the big truffle thing.
Okay, I will say that is, yes, the Las Vegas sphere is like a very weird ad thing, but to see stuff come up out of it is like through an app in your phone. Like that's like
Oh,
AI.
it is? I thought it was
Yes,
a big
I
ass
looked it up.
hologram.
No, I looked it up because it looked so crazy, but yeah, that's like
that's
that's
not as
through
cool.
a camera. It doesn't. You wouldn't see that with the naked eye.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah,
Well, what do we want? Courtroom hologram?
holograms. When do we want them?
Now, immediately.
Fucking now.
Yeah. Like in that jury
Jury
show
duty.
Jury duty.
So funny.
I love that show.
That the lawyer's nephew. Anyway, yeah, we don't have time, but like
Watch
just
that
fucking
show.
watch that show. It's so good.
It's so good.
Oh, that was good. Okay. So she has her reasons. So they had science, Dr. Ignoramus, he's doing the test in the courtroom. Okay. Quote, during the trial, the professor brought his apparatus into the courtroom and performed three toxicological tests before the jury. He brought his apparatus and
bet he
performed
did.
He
before the
whipped it
jury.
out.
I bet he
He
did.
whipped out his apparatus and just right in front of the judge and jury.
Jesus.
And they were all struck. The move was, quote, novel and impressive. Okay, so sidebar, speaking about science. The issue of Harriet's abortions was discussed during the trial, and I found it really interesting and surprising how, like, nonchalant they were about questioning her about her abortions.
Yeah, like it didn't used to be that big of a deal or something.
I mean, I knew a little bit about this, but I did some more digging because it just seemed like a much more like accepted topic than I even knew that it was for the time. So, sidebar here. Up through until the mid 19th century, abortions were fairly common in this country and relatively safe, meaning like compared to any other medical procedure at the time, they were basically just as safe because none of them were that safe. But anyway, most were, like Harriet's, self-administered at home, and the most common form of abortion was to flush the inside of the uterus with injected water, which, like, for folks listening at home, it's not all that effective, but it can help.
At least get stuff flowing.
It can help kind of flush and wash stuff out. Like, if you were trying to get pregnant, you shouldn't do it. But I'm just saying this for, like, people at home who might need information. This would not be your first choice today. We've got better ways now.
So this was not along with any kind of medicine or anything else. It was just
Water
spraying
flushing?
water up there.
I think it's
Spray and pray.
It must have depended on when, at what point in the pregnancy. I'm sure it wouldn't work for a more established pregnancy, but maybe to, like, try to, like, I don't know. I don't have more information.
Okay.
There were also other types of abortion. This was just the most common one at home. So, like, folks would, like, buy, like, a water apparatus and
A douche.
a heavy duty douche.
It's like an enema, a front enema.
Yeah. And a lot of women actually in the past, or people in the past, used just regular douching to try to prevent pregnancy, but that wasn't an abortion. That was, like, attempted birth control. Anyway. Okay. They also had other types of abortion for people who are farther along or whatever, if their water thing doesn't work. And midwives tended to be abortion providers for anyone who was doing one outside the home. So then the American Medical Association, the AMA, was founded in 1847. It was run entirely by men. And one of their first priorities was making abortions illegal.
Great.
So they had
didn't have a say in it.
literally, it was a power control thing. So there are two reasons. They had two motivations. One, the whole Tucker Carlson great replacement white supremacist bullshit stuff about, today it's framed as like, well, if
The birth rate's down.
if white women are having abortions, then whatever, the great replacement theory. But then it was, if Yankee white Protestant women are having abortions, then soon we'll be outnumbered by Catholics and then also racist shit like blacks and Chinese and whatever. That was the thinking. And
Weird.
two, because they felt midwives had too much power and too much market share over OBGYN stuff.
Because all
Oh, yeah.
OBGYNs were dudes, too.
So everything was changing in like medicine at this time. So more and more people were like studying, like men were going to medical school, and medical school was more rigorous, and the only people that could go were men. And so the only people graduating as like actual doctors were men. And if there's a boom in the number of doctors, we need to create more doctor jobs for them. And here's
so we
a
got to
whole,
get rid of midwives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they can take those
have
positions.
jobs. Yeah.
Jesus.
So, quote, if the AMA could wrest control over the marketplace of abortion, it would be lucrative to this growing cadre of university-educated, mostly male physicians who are beginning to specialize in things like obstetrics and gynecology, end quote.
God.
And so they launched a crusade against abortion, mainly targeted at female abortion providers. Also, like, women who gave birth in the hospital with male doctors had much higher maternal mortality rates because the doctors wouldn't wash their hands, and midwives did, just because they didn't know about germs, but they just knew that, like, wash your
It's what
fucking
you do.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty basic.
And they're not handling corpses. Anyway. Okay. Long sidebar.
Cool. Great. Love it.
Back to the trial. George Vosburgh's defense team was formidable and politically connected. It included the likes of the former governor of New Jersey, Joseph D. Beadle.
Ugh.
What is
As
with
well-
all the names in your case?
It's an old-timey case. Their names were amazing. Also a former senator. So they presented counter-experts who refuted Dr. Ignoramus's findings, saying that Harriet couldn't have been poisoned with antimony because she had made such a quick recovery.
What?
So what they're saying is it sounds funny on the face of it because it's like clearly she was being poisoned because as soon as he wasn't near her, she made
Then
a miraculous recovery.
Right. She
So
was no longer
obviously
being
she was
poisoned. And she felt better.
Right. So that's the prosecution's theory of the case, which is correct. And the defense's theory of the case is if she had been poisoned with antimony, then the effects of that poisoning would have lasted longer.
Taken longer to
and
wear
she
off.
would have been sick for longer. So therefore, because she made such a miraculous recovery, it couldn't have been antimony.
Okay.
Okay.
Which, like, I'm not a doctor, but that's what they tried to claim. They also claimed that Harriet had been taking a different medication given to her by a clairvoyant before she fell ill, which I was desperate to find more information about this and couldn't. Tragic. But
Yeah,
like,
that's like the
a
juiciest part of the
drug-dealing
story.
clairvoyant.
Love
Yeah,
her.
a sangoma.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and Harriet was seeing a clairvoyant, but we don't know if
Duh.
they gave her medication or what it was.
I wish my clairvoyant could
Right?
prescribe.
A twofer?
Yeah.
People might actually go to the doctor if it was like,
You get it for
Straight
a tarot
up.
reading.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. So mainly, though, they questioned the veracity / the chain of custody of the samples that James Sickles had gathered. So he had no way to prove where the samples had come from other than just like his word.
And if they didn't know if he had tampered with them or not.
He
to
didn't
frame
have a
his
GoPro.
brother-in-law.
Right. So he could have laced the samples with the antimony himself in order to frame George, which like is a good defense, I will say.
That is
I
a good
appreciate
defense.
that.
Yeah. So Vosberg, while on the stand, staunchly denied ever having contact with the tartar emetic prior to the trial. When his governor / lawyer, mayor matchmaker, asked him if he poisoned his wife, he answered, "No, sir. I never had a powder of tartar emetic in my hand in my life until the other day in this courtroom."
The drama.
Is tartar emetic that's the thing that makes you barf? Is
Yeah.
that also the stuff in the China?
Antimony is
antimony.
one part of different compounds, so it can be used in making china, and then it's called something else, the compound, or it can be used in tartar emetic, and then it's a different name of a compound.
So either way, these are substances that a person could just go get from the hardware store at the time.
Definitely, the tartar emetic. People had that in their medicine cupboards a lot because if you were sick,
It was like
the
Pepto.
the best
Yeah.
thing they could do for you was make you puke.
Get it out.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, the China stuff, he wasn't like grinding up China or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't like, he didn't work in a China dish factory. So I think it was not relevant. It was just an example of like, this is a use of a lubricant.
Oh, okay.
Lubricants are used in machinery. I don't know, whatever.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. The defense's powerful cross-examination also shone a light on various aspects of the couple's life, muddying the waters considerably. Basically, both George and Harriet came out of this trial looking absolutely fucking terrible. All their dirty laundry got aired, not just the abortions and the barman boyfriend, but also Harriet's alleged morphine habit, which might have been the quote-unquote medication that her clairvoyant was giving her.
That sounds like a clairvoyant med.
Yeah, that tracks.
That definitely tracks.
But also George's abuse. He was having sexual affairs on the side too. Like, it was a bad fucking marriage.
Yeah.
During cross-examination, it came to light that the good reverend was visiting another woman, Miss Mary Purcell,
Slut.
a little too often.
George was a reverend?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
As part of his pastoral duties.
Ew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
George claimed that he'd stopped visiting that particular parishioner after Harriet became upset about it, although he has no idea why she would be upset about it because nothing was happening.
Okay.
So the DA asked, quote, "Did you not threaten to choke your wife because of your differences over Mary Partial?" To which George replied, "No," with explosive fervor, quote.
Well, yeah, but I didn't do it.
He's such a drama king.
Yeah. The prosecutor also asked if Vosberg's family liked Harriet, but his lawyers objected to the question, saying, quote, "Well, if his family disliked her, that's a good reason to murder her."
Yeah, that's fucking irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, but still.
That's so funny.
Old-timey sarcasm is always really fun.
Yeah.
The jury was presented a complex portrait of a troubled marriage, and they were torn. Were these compelling enough reasons for a man of God to commit such a heinous crime?
Probably.
And in the end, they didn't think so, and the jury declared George Vosburgh not guilty.
Wow.
Following his acquittal, Vosburgh returned to his church, which must have been incredibly awkward, but life wasn't totally back to normal. Not long after the trial, the couple separated, thank goodness, because he, tried to murder you.
Uh-huh.
And multiple times, it sounds like. After which point, more evidence surfaced of George's abusive nature. So this was such a big case in the press that, people followed them after the trial. And then, when they got separated, that was also reported on.
Love after lockup.
Yeah.
More TMZ. Old-timey TMZ.
Absolutely. So he may have even made further attempts to poison Harriet. There's not that much info about this, but I did read it in one place, so I am running with it that there is evidence that he attempted to poison her after the trial,
Oh, my God.
which would be very ballsy.
Double jeopardy. Kinda.
No, different. I don't think it was.
Kinda.
The public, once divided in their opinion, finally turned against George, forcing him to resign his position with the Madison Avenue Baptist Church. He left New Jersey, relocating to Denver, and then he eventually remarried, this time to a wealthy woman. So he actually did,
End up on
fine.
top.
Yeah.
Men always survive.
He's doing fucking fine.
God.
He remained a
Loser.
pastor, and he went on to lead an even larger congregation in Denver than he
Got
had
a
in New
bigger
Jersey.
following.
Yeah. And then fun fact, George's great-granddaughter, so with this second wife, Peggy Reevy, I think Reevy, who was an artist and also the ex-wife of filmmaker David Lynch.
Yeah.
She
Weird
is George's
connect.
great-granddaughter, and she was inspired by the story of her poisoner ancestor, so she created an art show titled The Vosburgh Poisoning Case and Other Sins.
Cool.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I love dumping on your ancestors.
Peggy Revy. All revved up.
Cool.
So that's my case. I know he was acquitted, which is strange, but the defense did a really good job, I think.
Well, she didn't die, and she escaped him in the end.
All's well that ends well, Lucy says.
Well,
Could have been worse.
no cry over spilt milk. You lived. What?
Cry
Quit
over
crying.
spilled
Your
milk.
abusive husband tried to murder you again. And there
fine.
was a
He
big
didn't
long
succeed,
months-long
so what more
trial,
do you
and you had to
want?
live with him through it the whole time. So what's the big deal?
Walk it off.
Relax. You're being hysterical. Well done. What a story.
Nice job.
Well, we've got more where that came from. Should we take a quick sponsor break and then get into my case?
Yeah.
Tartar emetic.
Today's episode is sponsored by our amazing friends at Care Of. We love them so much. Care Of is a subscription service that ships high-quality, personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders. I am obsessed with the powders. I use the matcha powder every day. Conveniently to your door every month. Care Of also helps track your wellness progress through their thoughtfully designed companion app. I love a companion app.
Care Of makes taking your vitamins on the go this summer so convenient with individual daily packs that are perfect for travel. You just stick them in your bag. You set it and forget it, baby. Care Of's daily vitamin packs are made with plant-based compostable film to help limit the impact on the environment without compromising on the quality and safety of their products.
Love that.
Yeah, and like Amanda said, their powders are so nice. Like,
They're yummy.
even when you're on the go, you just stop and maybe you get a smoothie, you dump your powder in, you shake it up. You're set for the day, baby. And supplements can be a huge support for how you feel, and Care Of recognizes they're only a piece of the puzzle. Care Of just updated their app, their cute little companion app, with new features that help you build a holistic daily wellness routine and help you track your routine and whether it's working over time, which, newsflash, it's going to work because Care Of makes it so dang easy. I love their little vitamin packs. They have little prompts for the day, like fun facts or quotes or questions. It's just adorable. So we're here for Care Of.
So for 50% off your first Care Of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code GALS50. That's for 50% off your first Care Of order. Go to takecareof.com and enter code GALS50 and treat your wellness.
Trade it.
I know everybody's out there talking about back to school, but it's still summer, baby. It's August, okay? Who says you can't vacation in the comfort of your own home? Brooklinen is here to keep you cozy all summer long with their award-winning sheets and home essentials, and we are obsessed.
I just changed my bed sheets this morning, and nothing makes me happier than a fresh set of Brooklinen sheets on my bed. I am so excited to go to bed tonight.
I just got another set off of my wedding registry. I'm obsessed with them.
Luck.
Yeah.
Brooklinen is the perfect way to build your own indoor oasis to escape the heat. They've got really light sheets. They're actually like very comfortable for the summertime, and they have warmer sheets for the wintertime. You switch them up, they're going to be amazing no matter the season. The options are endless. So do yourself the favor of simplifying your shopping by bundling bed, bath, and both, because they also have a ton of bath towels and bath accoutrements.
All the towels.
Oh, the bath sheet.
Yeah.
It's enormous and it's very thin. It dries really fast. It never gets that like musty smell.
It's unbelievable.
We love the bundles, and you can save time and up to 25% when bundling your new favorite home essentials. And if you think you've heard of Brooklinen before, it's because you have.
From us, because we love them so much.
It's also the internet's favorite sheets. You've heard about them on Wirecutter and Good Housekeeping. And they have over 100,000 five-star customer reviews. So
so if you don't want to believe us, you can believe over 100,000 other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So do yourself the favor of switching over to Brooklinen.
Yes. So shop in-store or online at brooklinen.com today to give yourself the luxurious sleep you deserve this summer. Use promo code GALS for $20 off your online purchase of $100 or more, plus free shipping on brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com and use promo code GALS for $20 off plus free shipping, and treat your sheets.
Trade it. June's Journey is a hidden object mystery game with a captivating detective story taking you back to the far gone glamour of the 1920s with a diverse cast of characters. Each new scene takes you further through a thrilling murder mystery story that sets the main protagonist, June Parker, on a quest to solve the murder of her sister and uncover her family's many secrets, and also decorate her garden while she's at it.
That is one of my favorite parts of this game. I have a massive garden. It's amazing. Find hidden clues and uncover a murder mystery, like Lucy said, set in the Roaring 20s. You dive into June's captivating quest to uncover a scandalous, hidden family secret. Okay? Customize your very own luxurious estate island, like we said, the gardening, baby. It is so beautiful. You can escape reality. Who doesn't want to escape reality right now and immerse yourself in the world of June Parker? Okay, if you're craving a good mystery or just looking for an escape, this is for you. I'm pretty deep in this game.
Of course you are.
I love it. And I love to like race against the clock in the searching portion of the games, and they get the bonuses for like beating the clock. I'm obsessed with it. Okay.
June needs your help, detective. Download June's Journey for free today on iOS and Android.
Okay, are you ready for my case?
Yeah.
Well,
They made love.
they made love. When I started my research for this case, I did what I always do, and I just like Googled the main character's name and got a Wikipedia page that I was so excited about until my bubble was immediately burst at the realization that this was just someone with the same name.
Oh,
But let
I
me
hate that.
read you
Dang
the
it.
opening line on who I thought was my subject today.
Okay, padding, but good.
No, I don't need this case is not short.
Okay, Paddington Bear.
This is legitimately not padding. I just want you to hear this and know why I was so sad that this case wasn't about him. Quote, Paul Curry, August 19th, 1917 through February 19th, 1986, was the vice president of the Blue Cross Insurance Company of New York and a famous amateur magician who became well known in the magic community for inventing highly original card magic.
That's what I want in an insurance company is an element of magic.
Yes.
Performance.
Highly original card magic.
Deceptive performance.
Yeah, let me deceive you for my amusement.
We're not going to cover your insulin, but here's this highly original card magic.
I mean, they are fucking scam artists, so it's fine.
But sadly, the Paul Curry we're discussing is not a famous amateur magician. Amateur. But he was a well-liked, respected former Jeopardy winner.
Smarty pants.
Oh,
He won 60 grand in the mid-'80s on Jeopardy.
it's a lot.
More than a hundo.
It's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot of hundos.
He was a super smart dude. He was a Mensa member. And he was kind of a dick about that.
Who is
He
it?
wore-
That's part of it, I think.
It is part. It's a
It's totally
requirement.
part of it.
I
Gotta
mean,
be
you
a
have to
dick
be
about
a
it.
dick to, like, take the exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Right.
He worked as an engineer with Southern California Edison in their nuclear power safety department. He met his lovely wife, Linda, who also worked at SCE in 1989, and they clicked instantly despite her being 13 years older than him. Ooh la la.
Cougar.
Yeah, she was 45, he was 32. Their love grossed some of their friends out, to be honest.
Just because she was older?
No,
Oh, because they loved each other so much?
because of their behavior.
Okay.
Mostly, yeah.
I already
One-
hate this guy. Can I hate this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I hate him.
He sucks.
Okay.
One close former friend, Mary Siebold, who Mary spills every drop of tea. And everything I read was covered in Mary sound bites. I fucking love her.
Yes.
She tells half of my case. So just welcome to the floor,
Welcome.
Mary Siebold. You're the fourth gal today. So Mary recalled, quote, they would talk their little baby talk, their little nicknames. It
No.
was sickening.
No.
That, yes.
Can't.
Team Mary.
Cannot. She also noticed some red flags, which I'm not sure if she brought up with her friend Linda before Linda and Paul got married. But Mary said in an interview, quote, he thought highly of himself. There was no doubt about it.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
Yeah, she's amazing. He liked to take over the conversation and kind of talk over her, and she would sit back and allow it because she liked showing his intelligence off. So Linda was kind of getting off on, I've got this younger, hot, brilliant-minded man in my life, and he dotes on me, and we're obsessed with each other.
Right.
Insufferable.
Yeah.
Yep, the worst couple ever.
That'd be bad.
Yeah. The two married in 1992, but it wasn't wedded bliss for long. From CBS News, quote, and then there were the money issues. Paul and Linda had combined annual salaries of at least $140,000 a year, but Linda noticed that she had less money than ever. The reason soon became clear. Curry, Paul, was helping to support 2 ex-wives and 3 children, families he'd kept hidden from his now wife, Linda.
Secret families.
families.
2 secret families.
Oh.
This was obviously sus and not chill with Linda, who
Sounds
also...
like a psychopath.
Yeah, he sucks. Also, Linda had expensive taste, and she liked to spend her hard-earned cash, as well she should. And, you know, she also liked to sometimes spend the hard-earned cash of her partners.
Okay.
So Mary, the amazing friend we love, did describe Linda as, quote, a fashionista. She always had new outfits with shoes to match, purse to match, earrings to match, bracelets to match. She herself was twice divorced, and one of her former husbands also reflected on her spending habits. And let it be known that, like, this guy that's talking about Linda actually remained a good friend of hers and was, like, really good to her and in her corner through all of this.
Okay.
So definitely there is, like, misogyny here. It's like, oh, she wanted to spend all of his money. But, like, she did
She made her own money, too,
She
though.
made her own money. She spent it. And also, if her partner had extra money, she would spend that too. So he said, quote, she would spend money. Yeah, for every dollar she made, she spent 2. I used to go crazy. So now we have a household where one spouse is funneling money to 2 secret families and another is struggling to stay on top of some debt for a lifestyle kind of beyond her means.
Right.
Like, this is just a tale as old as time. So as if this story wasn't already reading like something out of the Nancy Grace playbook, Mary Siebold gets a call from Linda barely a month after Linda and Paul get married. And this is around the same time that these financial issues are coming to light. And so Linda's calling her friend. Mm-hmm. Mary says, quote, they'd been married maybe a month, and she called me one night and says, you know, Mary, Paul wants to take out $1 million life insurance policy on me. What do you think?
Yikes.
Ugh.
To which Mary said, are you crazy? Are you kidding me? Why would you do that? I love Mary so much. He comes into this marriage with practically nothing, and she's got a beautiful house, beautiful furniture, beautiful clothes, wonderful circle of friends, Mary continued. And what does he bring to the table? And now he wants a life insurance policy on her for $1 million? Red flag. Mm-hmm. To which I say, get you a friend like Mary Siebold.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This woman was no bullshit. She told her friend exactly what needed to be said.
Yeah.
And this is what a good friend does.
A good friend tells the truth.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while it appears that Linda is, listened to Mary this time and was like, okay, I'm not going to go forward with this policy.
She must have had some kind of doubts in her head,
Yeah.
like red
You don't
flags
ask.
too. Why would you
Right.
ask your friend if you weren't like, can you confirm that this is fucking weird?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. She had doubts. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So she listens to Mary this time, but the crisis is not over. What Mary didn't know is that Linda already had multiple life insurance policies in her name, not that she had gotten with Paul. One of her exes was the guy who's still friends with her, was an insurance salesman. Mm-hmm. So I think he added some policies for her while they were together. Like she bought policies from him that are just for her and like her next of kin.
Right.
They weren't for him.
Nothing sketchy.
Nope, her ex-husband
had
wasn't
a
on
lot
them.
of in on insurance.
Correct. These policies amounted to well over $1 million, and her new husband, Paul, was already the beneficiary on several of these
So
policies.
he wanted an extra backup murder policy. He didn't
He
want
wanted
just
everything.
The standard, I want to be able to pay off the house if you die.
Nope.
He wanted a windfall.
He finds out that she already has multiple policies, gets her to put his name on a lot of them if it didn't say all of them, but several of them. And now that he's not getting all of these policies, he's trying to get her to take out more with his name on them. Mm-hmm. So her ex-husband, the insurance salesman, was continuing to look out for Linda's best interests. They'd stayed friends after the divorce, and he asked her to take Paul's name off of the policies. Mm-hmm. He said, quote, get them off. You need to change your life policy right away.
So
and that's
he
when,
knew. He was like, this guy's not fucking around. He's
yeah,
trying to-
probably. And if he was, somehow connected to those policies, then she may have consulted him, or he may have gotten word that she had changed the policy because, he had a hand in getting her the policy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It makes perfect sense that he.
Yeah,
I meant
he's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
This is not looking good. She responds, okay, I'll put your name on it. I'll give it to you. And he says, no, don't give it to me. Give it to your sister. Like just your immediate next of kin family.
Yeah.
Don't put any of your husbands or ex-husbands on it.
Then the husband could contest it in court and be like, the insurance salesman put his own name.
Correct. Exactly. So this guy, Paul, is like, I'm looking out for you. This is not the right move. Linda was suspicious of Paul. Or not, the ex-husband isn't Paul. The ex-husband is just the friend guy. Anyway, Linda's suspicious of Paul, but wants to make this new marriage work. She loves him. He hasn't tried anything. So
Yet. It's been like
she's
2 hours.
Right. So she reaches out to a friend named Frankie Thurber, who was at that time looking for a new place to live. And so Linda invites Frankie to move in with them. While Frankie's living with them, Linda asks Frankie to keep an eye on Paul and see if she notices anything sus.
Well, I will never understand when you have those suspicions. I'm not talking about like someone in an abusive relationship that's like that is a cycle and like it makes sense why it can be hard to leave. But if you're not in that, if you're in this, if you're Linda and you think, I think my new husband of a month might be trying to murder me.
I think she was in an abusive situation, but that it was psychological abuse and manipulation and not physical abuse. And that she was manipulated and very much like love bombed by him.
Yes.
And it just really clouded her way of seeing the situation. I think she felt pretty powerless as things progressed.
I can also.
So I totally hear what you're saying.
I didn't mean
And
it
I
in
think-
like a victim blaming. I guess it just meant like,
It's confusing.
how can
If
you live with someone you think is trying to kill you? And
yeah.
you're just sitting across the table from them and asking other people to
keep
check.
an eye on him.
I can also see how they're very far apart in age. They're both a little bit older. She's older. There's just like almost
She's
like
this is my last
almost
chance.
like
I want to make this work.
also almost like a cultural difference between the person that you're dating because he's so much younger than you. So it might just be like, is it me or is he fucking weird?
Yeah, I don't know. So she says to Frankie, do me a favor, watch Paul and see if you think he's genuine with me and that he really cares about me.
That's a great thing to ask a friend if you have any doubt.
Yep. And
But
so
maybe
Frankie does.
before the wedding.
Right. So Frankie does and says, and that's when I started watching every move that he made, basically. Now, as we just kind of discussed, I'm of the opinion, and knowing what I know about this case, that Paul, with a house guest who is a close friend of Linda's, keeping an eye on him, turned up the charm and was on his absolute best behavior at this time.
This is
Like
a film. This has got to be
Like
a movie.
abusers can do. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is set
went-
up like such a
Movie.
Yeah.
what
He went out of his way to cater to Linda's every need, treat her like an absolute princess, and her friends who had once seen red flags were starting to see what Linda must love so much about Paul.
He had a really good night.
Yep. So Frankie went back to Linda and she said, quote, Linda, I watched everything. I don't see it. He dotes over you. He loves you. He can't do enough for you. I don't know why you would be questioning that.
I fell
Even
for
our
it.
girl Mary was charmed.
No way.
Quote, he would prepare these exotic, wonderful new salad dressings as a test and then send her upstairs for a hot bath, she said.
salad dressings.
That sounds cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Frankie was in awe of his attentiveness while she was living in their home. Quote, every night he would draw her a bubble bath. I mean, huge bubbles. I said, Linda, I would kill to have somebody draw me a bubble bath. Of course he loves you. Which that would sell me.
Bubble bath, salad
Sold.
dressing.
These bubbles. You've never seen bubbles.
They're huge. They're huge.
Like he didn't personally craft each bubble.
Are you
Never
sure?
seen bubble.
Oh, this big.
The effort. I could tell the effort that it took to turn on
Of
that
course
faucet
he loves
from
you.
the size of
Glenda
the
the
bubble.
Good Witch was in one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a big part of me that's like, I would fall for this because I'm a sucker for a bath. But also
And salad dressing.
I do love salad dressing. But also, and
terrible
I'm
men.
saying this knowing
Before Bill.
right. I'm saying this knowing that my Bill is an acts of service guy.
Yeah.
So like this is totally something that he would do. But if he started going like this hard
For no reason.
every night drawing me a bath and making me
It's
fancy
gross.
salad dressing,
I would not.
After I moved in with you.
yeah, it'd be too much. I would not. I'd be like,
My love language is whatever's the opposite of acts of service.
sure.
Acts of service
Leaving
do
you alone.
nothing for me. Either it's too much and kind of weird and annoying,
Yeah.
or
yeah.
it's like you want praise for that. That's your job. That's like standard. Like that's not an act of service to me. That is living your life, sir.
Well, and either way,
All right.
I just it would be weird. I don't know if I would love it, but like that questioning that Linda had of her husband would prove legit. And this is just a reminder to always listen to your gut, especially when your gut starts acting up so much it puts you in the hospital. So, just about a year into their marriage, in July of 1993, Linda is rushed to the San Clemente Medical Center ER with severe gastrointestinal distress. Upon arrival, she was in terrible condition, like visibly emaciated, really dehydrated, throwing up, nauseated. It's bad.
Like you in Boston.
Yeah, but I didn't have...
Emaciated.
I was not emaciated. So they hooked her up to an IV to get her hydrated, as well as administer IV medication to like reduce her nausea, etc. When the vomiting and stuff wouldn't subside, her nurse, Sherry Bundy, see ya Bundy, checked her IV bag and noticed the saline inside, which is meant to be clear, had a cloudy hue to it. The bag was removed and sent to their lab for analysis. Given Linda's condition upon arrival and the potential tampering with her IV bag, medical staff suspected poisoning. Linda's recovery was long and arduous. She spent 21 days in the hospital and nearly died from a stroke that she suffered while she was admitted. While they still couldn't pinpoint the source of her physical state, the results of the IV bag came back from the lab. The bag had been injected with lidocaine, which is a numbing agent, and the only way lidocaine could have ended up in the actual bag would be with intentional tampering. It's not like, because if they give an injection of anything, which they wouldn't be giving her a lidocaine injection for any reason, that wasn't on her chart. But if they did that, there's a section on the tubing where you would do an injection and stuff doesn't like back up into the source bag.
Yeah.
So for the bag to get cloudy, someone would have to be targeting the bag. And intentionally injecting something into the bag. So the results were reported to the police and an investigation was opened. As is tradition, the husband is looked at first in these scenarios many times. And Linda herself was interviewed by police about Paul, and many of these interviews were recorded. In an August 11th, 1993 interview, a detective asked her, if somebody were trying to do something to you, if they were trying to poison you, any idea who would try to do that? And she responded, well, the only person I could think of that would have a motive to do it would be Paul. And the only motive I can think of is money, but I don't want to really even believe that or think that. Oh, that's literally what she said on tape.
Oh my God.
Well, she tells it like it is.
Yep.
It's
It's like
probably
from
my
her house-
husband, but I'm in denial.
But I don't want to
that
believe
fact.
it.
Is this like from her hospital bed?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Or like shortly after she got released from the hospital.
In vitro veritas.
Pretty much. Despite this alarming response.
the IV bag?
In vitro? It's like
That's
in
not
your,
IV
it's like
bag.
you're pregnant.
Intravenous.
Was funnier instead of in vino veritas.
What's the plan for El Nino? Despite this alarming response, there was simply not enough evidence to arrest Paul, and Linda remained convinced that Paul loved her and was caring for her. She returned to their shared home after being released from the hospital, and things were quiet for about 5 months. By December of 1993, Linda was back in the hospital, emaciated, with severe gastrointestinal distress. Notably, Paul took her to a different hospital than the one before, probably to avoid scrutiny.
at the first hospital, and I'm on a list.
Well, once again, her IV bag is tampered with, and nurses notice. Police are called again. The medical staff made it clear, including putting a sign on Linda's door, that Paul was not allowed in Linda's room unaccompanied. That's how convinced everyone was that he was fucking with, because like a nurse went in to check on her as Paul was like leaving the room, and that's when she noticed that the IV bag was fucked up. And he had been the only visitor.
Yeah.
And none of the fucking nurses
so
did
it was not a fucking mystery.
No. Paul continued to deny any knowledge of the IV tampering or Linda's illness. When Linda sent her friend Mary, our favorite, to retrieve some clean clothes and toiletries from their home, Mary noticed something in Linda and Paul's bedroom. Quote, on the highboy dresser, as I walk into the room, there's a bunch of papers. Well, I just kind of glanced at them, but in big script writing, I saw the word life insurance in gold, and I went, oh, life insurance. And then I went, oh, more life insurance. Oh, they're all here.
Mary
they're all out on
is
this highboy dresser on the top of
amazing.
it. I love her so much.
In gold script. Oh, there's another
Life
one.
insurance.
Life insurance. But you can totally see exactly
Yes.
what she means.
She paints a
like,
picture.
Yeah, like the header. Yep. Now all the red flags are adding up to crimson. I mean, it's really red now, she said.
I love her.
I love her so much. When she returned to the hospital, she confronted her friend. Quote, I'm asking her, did you have those things out, Linda? Is this something you were looking at? Well, she hadn't been home. No, not at all, she said. And I said, Linda, put it together, and let's talk about what's going on here. And Linda seemed to really hear Mary and agree in that moment that she needed to get out of the marriage and get out of the home. But then when Mary came back the next day, she said, Linda basically slammed the door on me.
Yep. Of course.
Quote, the next day, it was like the door was slammed on me. And she said, no, Mary, no, I can't leave Paul. And I just can't imagine the desperation of her friends and loved ones that they must have felt watching her slowly die right before their eyes. And Paul has her so manipulated that she feels like she can't leave. It just breaks my fucking heart.
Yeah. And
So-
the gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, police investigation can't find any solid evidence. There's no, like, forensic evidence that they can find or, like, CCTV that says he's doing any of this. So he's not getting arrested. And Linda is, she has herself said, I can't think about that.
And
I
now
love
she's
him.
sick and in the home under his care.
Very vulnerable. Yeah, she's really fucking sick. So Linda was once again released from the hospital, and Paul was once again questioned but not arrested due to lack of evidence. 6 months later, Paul called 911, claiming he awoke in the night to find his wife barely breathing. Despite valiant efforts of paramedics and medical professionals to save her, Linda was pronounced dead on June 9th, 1994.
I didn't think she was going to die.
I really hoped she wouldn't, but because of the previous hospitalizations and police reports, Paul was not able to stop an autopsy. During the autopsy, pathologists discovered a suspicious mark behind her right ear that was consistent with marks left by a syringe.
Right behind
Like
your
by-
ear?
Behind your ear, but like
Like
down by
into
your
your
neck.
temple or your
Like
vein.
your neck. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But like hoping it would be hidden by like the earlobe and hair.
and
stuff.
hair. Yep. Wow. Correct.
And you could do it while they're sleeping.
Funny you should say that.
Sorry.
Funny you should say that. Her toxicology report revealed extraordinarily high levels of nicotine.
Yeah.
Her cause of death was ruled nicotine poisoning.
Oh,
Her bloodstream contained levels that could not have been achieved by smoking or chewing tobacco, and Linda was not a nicotine user.
She wasn't even a smoker?
No. The toxicology reports also revealed the presence of a large amount of the generic form of Ambien.
At least she
Her
went
death-
well.
Well, you'd hope, but she was sick for the entire year and a half, 2 years of her marriage.
That's true.
Her death was declared a homicide, but there was no evidence to connect Paul Curry to the nicotine, the sleeping pills, or a
Who
syringe.
else had access to her when she was that sick? Fuck this guy.
Oh, this is like the shittiest police response.
That's some
Ever.
bullshit.
He's
This
a
is
white man.
Enough circumstantial evidence.
I
think.
completely fucking agree. And this was a gross miscarriage of justice, what happens here. So he can't be charged. He's not charged. Thinking he's about to get millions from his late wife's estate, Linda's sister Pat comes forward with a notarized letter from Linda herself that she had sent months prior. And the letter clearly stated Linda's intention to leave the majority of her estate to her sister and not her husband.
Oh.
She did leave him her house and about $419,000. So he didn't walk away with nothing, but he didn't walk away with the millions that he thought he was going to get.
So maybe she sent that after she talked to her ex-husband who was like, don't fucking do that.
Probably. And her friend Mary.
That's
Yeah.
smart. Notarized letter in addition to the policy.
Yep, because she didn't want Paul to know that she's taking his name off of the policies or he's going to fucking lose his shit.
Oh. I hope that worked.
It did. Paul did not get the millions that his name had been on. This held up in whatever court looks at this shit as a legal change of recipient of the estate. And that Paul she did still commit to giving him their house, and she left him a policy of over $400,000. So he got something.
Yeah.
Shortly after, Paul was discovered at work as being a fucking fraud. A routine security check revealed a pack of lies in his resume. He was not an engineer at all.
And didn't he work at a something nuclear?
Yup. Nuclear power. He was not an engineer. He didn't even have a college degree.
He was just a salad dressing expert.
He was just a scam
artist.
It's Dirty John, but at a nuclear power plant.
Pretty much.
He's
So
a
he was
socio.
fired. Yeah. He was fired, and he spent through the money Linda had left him and let her beautiful home go into foreclosure.
Oh,
And then he left the state, and that was that. Years passed, Linda's case remained cold. That is until Sergeant Yvonne Scholl of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, who was working in the cold case unit, inherited Linda's case from a retiring detective. And this case was cold for like a decade at this point. With fresh eyes, she started digging into Paul, and she and her unit poured over Linda's insurance claims and also an insurance claim filed by Paul in the days after Linda died.
Just days later.
Days later. In that report, Paul claimed someone had stolen Linda's 18-karat gold ladies' presidential Rolex and some other jewelry, and he wound up collecting a little over $9,000 on that claim. This was suspicious, but not enough to convict, so they sought the expertise of Dr. Neil Benowitz, a professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco, and one of the country's preeminent experts on nicotine specifically. He was familiar with the case, now a decade plus cold, because he had been so shocked when this case was evolving to see nicotine poisoning as a cause of death at all, something even in his field of expertise he had never seen before.
Yeah,
He
like what
probably
would that
has
even?
a Google News alert set up for nicotine.
Probably.
But like, what would nicotine? How could you get poisoned by nicotine without it being like,
I'll tell
here's
you.
straight up nicotine?
I think
Literally.
it was straight up nicotine. It was more than she could have possibly had from smoking.
Well, and even, okay, so what's crazy is like, there's enough nicotine in a pack of cigarettes to give you nicotine poisoning, but not by smoking or chewing it.
You have to
If
eat
that
it.
shit's like ground up and like
Straight into the
soaked
bloodstream,
and
straight to the
injected
dome.
into your bloodstream, that's plenty to kill you. But like smoking a pack, chewing a pack, or even eating it, really, like you're gonna get sick. But like your body has more defenses with your gut health, like all these other things that can get
Ways
filtered
to
out.
process it.
But when it's straight into your bloodstream,
So-
you're
too
fucked.
quick.
So they knew that it was some sort of intentional poisoning, that this didn't
Yeah,
happen
it was ruled a
naturally.
homicide. They just correct. It was ruled a homicide. They just couldn't
Prove he
conclusively
had the
pin it on
nicotine.
Paul.
Unbelievable.
It could
Yep.
have been a traveling nurse.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just so crazy. So this doctor is confident and ready to testify that this level of nicotine in the body could only have been achieved by intravenous injection, and that death would occur within 30 minutes of administration. So given the timeline of Linda's death, Paul would be the only person with access to Linda 30 minutes before her death. And really what they needed to move forward with an arrest is for him to reconfirm and like say on the record,
That he had been
yes,
there.
I was the only one there. Because then that would really be enough to be like, well, we found this pinprick. This is the time of death. This is the timeline. You had to have done it. So this doctor also stated that the amount of nicotine in a single pack of cigarettes administered this way is more than enough to kill. All Paul would have had to do is go get a pack of cigarettes at the store and like make the deadly injection. Like just boil it down or, make a tea a couple days before, soak it all in nicotine into a liquid and just fucking inject
Oh
her.
my God.
Yeah, so fucking creepy. Detectives determined that Paul had laced his special salad dressing that he liked to make for Linda with the off-brand Ambien. Linda had fallen asleep.
She
and
loves those salads.
loves those salads, baby.
Salad dressing.
Never eating salad
Green
again.
goddess.
It's for my health.
It's for
And
my
while-
health.
Not in it.
I don't eat salad. It's for my
It's
health.
too risky. It's for my health. Linda had fallen asleep, and while she was incapacitated, he injected her with the nicotine. Sergeant Shull tracked Paul Curry to Salina, Kansas, where he had a new wife, a new son, and a new job working as a building inspector. So now his fourth family. And he was brought in for questioning. They played it smart, though. Okay, so they were like, if Paul knows, he's going to have to know we're talking about Linda's case because we have to ask him specific questions about that case. But if he knows that we're from Orange County and that we
flew
found
here.
him in Kansas and we flew here to talk to him, he's not going to talk.
Yeah.
So they pretended to be like local Kansas police to give him the impression
That
that
they don't know
they don't know a
what's
lot of
going
the
on.
details. Correct. And they were like, we need to ask you a couple questions just to close this out. Are you willing to come down to the station just for like an hour? It's super cash. Soups, totes, cash. And he's like, sure, I'll come down and talk to you. So he agrees to speak to them. And while they're chatting, he admits and reconfirms over and over again, because they're asking him follow-up questions, that he had been the the only one in the home with Linda the night of her death. And Sergeant Shull is like, so nobody broke in. Nobody came by to visit. Nobody dropped off food or beverage. Like, she's asking all of these questions to be like, you're absolutely certain that from this time to this time, you were the only one in your house with your wife. And he's like, yes, nobody else was there, which, like, idiot.
Yeah. Should have been like, I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. We might have had food delivered.
Right. But he confirms that he was the only one there, and Sergeant Shull is like, okay, cool. Well, I'm actually this sergeant from Orange County, and I'm reading you your rights, and you're actually fucking under arrest. And now he was arrested 16 years after murdering his wife.
The sergeant whipped out her apparatus right
Yep.
there.
Whipped it out.
The jury was all
impressed.
Wow.
Awestruck.
At trial, Paul's defense team tried to argue that Linda was giving herself nicotine enemas.
Ew.
And that's
For
what killed
fun?
her. Yeah, no, it didn't hold up. That did not hold up.
Like while she was in the hospital.
I mean, at least in the time before leading up to her death, that like, oh, she was doing this as a, I don't know.
Crazy Linda.
A wellness treatment. Yeah, old enema Linda. Classic Linda.
Well, back to the lidocaine. Was he trying to just poison her with a huge amount of lidocaine?
Yep. He was trying to kill her in the hospital, and then it could be someone else's fault,
Oh my God.
not his.
So his MO, it wasn't consistent. He wasn't using the same thing consistently.
It was opportunistic.
Wow.
He had been poisoning her.
Or no, he
with-
switched it up. He didn't, if his wife got poisoned with the same poison at two different hospitals, but if it's a different poison, it's unrelated.
I mean, I guess I'm not 100% sure what was in the bag at the second hospital, but he was fucking with that bag. And what had been making her sick, most likely, was him poisoning her with nicotine and not getting his dosages right. And so I think
And
he
he finally
finally
was just like, I gotta
I'm
end
doing the
this.
whole pack or whatever, and I'm just like really gonna fuck this shit up
Or
and go
she
for it.
wanted her dressing on the side so she could control the dosage.
No,
Did it have something to do with the huge bubbles?
probably.
Well, maybe
Either way.
maybe he thought, hey, I put enough Ambien in this salad dressing. Maybe she'll pass out in the tub.
Drown. Who knows? Either way, on September 30th, 2014, a jury found Paul Curry guilty on charges of insurance fraud and murder in the first degree with special circumstances, and he received the maximum sentence of life in prison without parole. Fuck you, Paul
Fuck
Curry.
you.
Wow.
I also
And that's my
appreciate
case.
That this case had both of our birthdays.
I know, right?
So cute.
Twinning.
Okay. Speaking of birthdays, I have to go take care of my baby who
Oh, yeah.
was born 10 months ago. Okay.
You have one of those.
Hi, brain.
That was a
Love
loose. That was a big loop. Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers!
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.